What a way to start the new year, but with a brand new girlfriend. But before we talk about the real new girlfriend, let's talk about the fake one. Yes, for those unaware from not being in the 100 Girlfriends trenches like I am all the time, a little over a week before the chapter released in Japan, 2 pages from the chapter leaked online. Now, this is nothing entirely new. A couple of the first pages of new girlfriend chapters tend to leak online kind of frequently. Funny enough, we all thought that this girl was the new girlfriend because Hasuwa wasn't actually in the pages that leaked online. And these kinds of leaks of the first 2 pages are usually maybe a few days before release, but this was like over a week, back on like December 29th. Before the new year even started. And sure, having over a week for a leak is one thing, but to add on top of that, they weren't even real. Or fully real, I guess I should say. Here are the actual pages from the chapter, and here are the ones that leaked. Can you spot the difference? Yeah, it's an entirely different character. And what I find even more interesting is that the basic premise of the character with the beanie and general warm attire is all the same. And to add even more on top of that, she looks a great deal like this background character that appeared all the way back in chapter 43 at the end of the Hairpocalypse chapter, leading myself and some others believing that it's either the same character, or Nozawa retooled the design to make a new girlfriend. Needless to say, it was a wild time in the community trying to determine if this was real or AI generated, when in reality it was a partial real leak with someone's fan creation girlfriend photoshopped in hiding the real design, yet they made their fan-made girlfriend kind of have the same general design idea? It's kinda weird. But I guess this is a good thing though, like, the series is now big and popular enough to warrant people putting in effort to alter leaks. As annoying as this stuff kind of is, it's bound to happen when series get bigger fan bases. And now with every leak going forward, we're going to be asking ourselves if we can even trust the entirety of the page being given to us. It could be photoshopped, not just leaked. So that was my holiday break summed up. How was yours? Well, and mine also had that year-end stream I did with Backtracks and Chaos Squared, where we spent 5 hours going over a year's worth of chapters and character development. But if 5-hour-long yapping streams aren't your thing, Earl was nice enough to make a condensed version of it, highlighting all the tier adjustments and important discussions.
This is the gap between you and her, and these two.
I'll leave a link to both in the description box below. Now we have a new girlfriend to meet, the real one this time. I'm Moonlight150, and this is my overview of the latest 100 Girlfriends manga chapter, Chapter 240, The Girl with Sanpaku Eyes. Be sure to welcome the new year by thanking Zoonscans by supporting their hard work by checking out the chapter where they post them. And 7Cs because, well, I think they have like 3 or 4 volumes to get out this year. They're gonna need all the help they can get. Now, onto the chapter. We're wasting no time in 2026 as the literal first page of the chapter gives us our first look at the new character, which catches the attention of Rentaro as apparently her seat has been empty since the entrance ceremony. And yes, for those keeping track at home, this character breaks the long streak since girlfriend number 11 of Meme of being in the same class as Rentaro. Man is gonna end up dating every female in his class at this rate. Cut to a bit later and out of class and Rentaro stumbles upon her all curled up in the hallway. Being the gentleman that Rentaro is to women everywhere, he inquires if something is wrong, which he is met with what I can only describe as something as equivalent to the Luigi death stare. And with that, we have our first zing of 2026. It turns out that she is so cold that she can't move from that very spot, so Rentaro offers his jacket to warm her up. And thankfully, it just gets her warm enough to be able to make it to her locker, which is jam-packed with those sticky heat pads you can apply to yourself. After that blissful pick-me-up, we're on to introductions. Meet Kogoe Mishiru. Like I said before, a fellow classmate of Rentaro of Class 1-4, and this girl is perpetually cold, which is her reason that she has been absent since the entrance ceremony, as she has been so cold that she didn't want to leave her futon. You know, girl, same. There have been so many days I don't want to leave my bed either. And she figured that since it's been 239 chapters since the entrance ceremony, the things must have gotten warmer by now. She hasn't even been officially indoctrinated into the family yet, and she's already breaking the 4th wall.
4th wall break inside a 4th wall break. That's like 16 walls.
Well, there goes my old theory video idea that joining the Rentaro family is like joining a cult where you become self-aware that you're a manga character. Add that to the scrap pile. Hold on. She says it's been 239 chapters since the entrance ceremony. Yeah, I know, ha, insert forever spring joke here. But this might actually give us a small clue into what kind of wibbly-wobbly timey-wimey stuff that we are dealing with here. It's the first chapter of the year, let's get crazy, huh? So Kogoe herself says that she has been absent since the entrance ceremony, which happened in chapter 1, and that it has been 239 chapters since then. And as we know from Saki's backstory, where she purposefully missed a lot of school in order to be held back a year, this is a potential danger for students to repeat grades if they miss too many days. Much like any school, I'm assuming. Briefly doing some Googling, it seems like a requirement for Japanese high schools in order to move on to the next grade is to attend at least 2/3 of your classes in all subjects. An average year of high school in Japan is roughly 220 to 240 days. For simplicity's sake, let's say 230. If a student needs to attend at minimum 2/3 of the year in order to graduate, that leaves the remaining 1/3 a maximum of 76.666666. Okay, let's just call it 77. 77 days is the cutoff point to where if they had that many absences, they are doomed to repeat the year. But here's the interesting part. Kogoe never mentions that she was at risk of repeating the year. Like the school hasn't contacted her parents yet and told her that she needs to get her butt to school, otherwise she'd have to repeat the year. So she's missed a good chunk of school since the beginning of the year, but not enough to the point where the school is contacting her parents. So if we take that 77 and go right down the middle to, let's say, 38.5, let's round up to 40 for simplicity's sake again. 40 days of absences, 40 days straight no less, since the beginning of the school year is a considerable amount of time. Enough to where fellow classmates would notice your seat always being empty, but maybe not enough for the school to start pestering your parents about getting you back to school just yet, threatening to repeat the year. By this leap of logic that I'm honestly kind of brute forcing here, the "it's still spring" joke that Nakamura keeps pestering us with actually kind of holds up. Where this falls apart though is where you go one step further. Take those 40 days that Kogoe has been absent and cram 239 chapters worth of manga in there, and your average becomes 5.975, rounding up to 6. 6 chapters of adventures every single day in the supposed timeline. But hey, manga logic, am I right? 40 days after the entrance ceremony, which is usually around early April in a lot of Japanese schools, would make it about mid-May. So yes, as much as I hate to admit it, it is technically still spring. Did I just solve my own ongoing personal battle against Nakamura for Nakamura by giving him this explanation of how it could still technically be spring?
Congratulations, you played yourself.
Wait, what's that next line?
Rentaro should be in his second year by now. Kisuka and Kusuri should be graduated, a bunch of the middle school girlfriends should be first years now. We're way past needing to be in summer. We need to be in the following school year.
Yeah, I don't think we can deny it anymore. Nakamura watches my videos and is personally out to get me and make me suffer. Okay, I'm good now. Let's get back to the chapter and be happy. We have a new girlfriend. Yay. After exposition dumping how she's always cold, she then proceeds to tell us about her other quirk, that being her eyes and the namesake of this chapter, her Sanpaku eyes. I actually know a bit about this since my day job involves working with eyes, so this will be a good distraction from what I just went through. Sanpaku is when you're able to see the white of the sclera typically on the bottom of your eyes, and it can be on top as too, but that's less common. Back in the day, it was believed having Sanpaku eyes meant a lot of different things, mostly bad though. Like your entire being physically, spiritually, and even psychologically was all out of balance. And those with Sanpaku eyes are doomed to misfortune and prone to accidents or violence, especially if the white was on the top of your eyes, like I said earlier. The anime and manga industry has taken Sanpaku eyes to be shorthand that this character is dangerous or threatening, and this is how we loop back around to Kogoe, as because of her Sanpaku eyes, she gives off what seems like death glares to people, like what happened when she zinged with Rentaro, and these glares usually freak people out, and because of that she has become rather recluse and uses her bangs to hide her eyes from people. Where have I heard that before? And after that other exposition dump, Kogoe wants to thank Rentaro for helping her by showing him where the warmest vending machine in town is? I guess I've seen worse pickup maneuvers. And they plan to meet after school. Though due to a sudden snowstorm in the middle of spring? Yeah, I give up. Rentaro heads to the park to meet up with Kogoe there and finds her Cossack dancing? Turns out she used the Cossack dance to keep herself warm during this freak snowstorm. Thankfully, Rentaro's there to catch her as she collapses from exhaustion, where he then proceeds to strip down to his Astro Boy chastity belt, briefs, to warm her up. Though even with all those layers, she is still cold and Rentaro asks what else he can do for her, and she accidentally lets it slip that she wants a hug from him. And without a second thought, Rentaro embraces her to keep her warm. After this bit of body heat exchange, Kogoe tries not to look Rentaro directly in the eyes because of her own eyes and not wanting to scare him away. But Rentaro turns on that infamous Aijo Riz, telling her how pretty her eyes are, which gets Kogoe all flustered and she admits her feelings, to where they exchange even more body heat in the form of a kiss. We then cut to what I'm assuming is the next day, can't be too sure in this manga anymore, and we see that Kogoe has trimmed her bangs since she feels Rentaro might like being able to see her eyes more. Which, of course, come on, it's Rentaro, of course he'll like it. Man will literally explode upon seeing them. And there we have it, Girlfriend 36, Kogoe Mishiru, the first girlfriend of 2026, the special leap year for 100 girlfriends, as we should hopefully be getting 5 this year. All around a good first impression. I think there's some interesting things to be done with this character, and I'm curious how she's going to mingle with everyone else, particularly in group activity chapters, since she's normally too cold to move most of the time. Though I've said the same thing with Nemu and her constantly being sleepy, and she seems to be doing just fine. And I'm excited to find out what small group she's going to form with other girlfriends. And Nakamura, if you won't make it warmer with summer for us the readers, can you at least do it for poor Kogoe? Poor thing is freezing. And I'm surprised I haven't noticed this before, but there's a good number of girlfriends that compares love or being in love to something else. Like Matsuri compares love to a festival, and Meru compares it to a fairy tale. And now Kogoe says she's never realized how warm love is. We can probably predict like 20 more girlfriends just by comparing love to something or how it feels. I also do like this small bit of early character development for her, showing how she has hidden her life hiding away because of her eyes and not wanting to make people uncomfortable, and when she finds at least one person who isn't creeped out by her eyes, it sets in this motion of newly found self-esteem or maybe even body positivity about herself and how she looks. Which, come on, she's just cute. I mean, even before the bangs trim, she was cute. Who cares if she'll occasionally give you the death glare that makes you wonder where the missing kitchen knife went? But like I said, I'm curious and excited to see what Nakamura and Nozawa do with this character, who seems a bit more flexible to use than something like Ero or GI, whose personality and quirks are a bit more rigid and stuck on one thing. And especially how they are going to differentiate her from Meimei, since they do share a lot of similarities with being uneasy in society and having something to do with their eyes. And going back to that explosion known as Rentaro, apparently it's going to take him a bit to regenerate, as this series is going to be going on a 2-week break for the first time since I started covering this series. Apparently this hasn't happened, not counting end of year holiday break, since chapter 147 and 148 back in 2023. So, yeah, that, leap year of 100 girlfriends and getting 5 girlfriends this year might be in slight jeopardy now. I should do that math. It'll probably take me like 2 weeks to do it. Oh, and I guess I should use that time to do my other projects, huh? Wonder if the council wants to do any streams. Okay, I'll get to work. So yeah, I'm taking this as a sign from the universe to work on my side projects and get them done right out of the gate for the beginning of the new year. I've been Moonlight150, and be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to see those side projects when they come out, and when the series comes back in 2 weeks at the beginning of February. I'll see you all then.
I just might